Well, today I'm going to take you on a little walk through the Tuileries. I think I'm saying that correctly. Some of us call it the Tuileries, but it's called the Tuileries Garden, Jardin. And then I will be actually walking through the garden. You're going to see a couple of different looks at the garden at different times of the year because I took some videos about a month ago, and I thought, I'm going to walk through the garden today and see what's out there. So I added that. So you get a little glimpse of what it looks like when it's very, very early spring. I love gardens, and Paris is one of those places where there's little nooks and crannies everywhere where you can just sit and think and dream and plan, all of that. And the Tuileries is no different. It's just a big garden. It's roughly about 50 acres. I tell you a little bit about the history of the garden as we're walking. I'm walking actually across the garden. I'm going from the left bank to the right bank, and because I'm meeting a friend for lunch on a little cafe on Rue de Rivoli. And then when I finish the lunch, just so you know, I take you down to a bookstore that is actually just, I don't know what direction that is, but it's on one side of the La Maurice Hotel, which is on Rue de Rivoli. The most fantastic English bookstore I've ever seen. But if you speak French, also there's some French books in the front too, but it's just a fantastic bookstore. And so catch a glimpse of that. I take you in the bookstore and then back through the park. So enjoy, everyone. Oh, we are entering the Tuileries. Most of us want to pronounce it Tuileries, but it is Tuileries because tuile is a French word for tile, and the Tuileries was purchased by Catherine de' Medici, Italian queen of France, and she purchased it to build the Tuileries Palace and the gardens. So the palace is no more. Lots and lots of kings and queens lived in the palace, even Napoleon, so an emperor or two. And but the palace was destroyed in about 1871 by a French commune, all kind of a ramification of the revolution in France that wiped out the monarchy. So some of the videos, or some of the pieces of this video, are showing you what this looked like earlier this summer, spring. Now you can see things are popping. The Tuileries began really as a Italian Renaissance garden, Catherine de' Medici as an example. And then in, somewhere in the 1600s, it became, or it was redone by the famous French garden designer, André Le Nôtre. And he created the symmetry that you see, kind of the geometry, which is so common in French gardens. And that's what you see today. I'll show you the mall, which I think is so beautiful. One end of the mall is the Place de la Concorde, and the other end of the mall is the Louvre, because the Tuileries Palace was actually in front of the Louvre, so you have a perspective. This is the mall that André Le Nôtre created. There's water on each end. You can see it's raining out, so I don't have as competent of a view of spanning. The Louvre is down there. I don't know if you can see it, but you can certainly see the fountain. And you can see various gardens. This is the mall in the middle of the Tuileries. And here you have the Place de la Concorde. We are walking through the Jardin des Tuileries. The Tuileries is very close to my house. I will try to go slower. There is a pedestrian bridge that actually takes you from the left bank to the right bank. The Tuileries is on the right bank. The chestnut trees are completely in bloom, as you can see. And these little buggers I am allergic to. So if I start coughing or sniffling, you know exactly why. But everything's popping, even though it is so cold in Paris. I have on a wool sweater. I have a wool sweater on. I have a coat on that's a raincoat that is lined. It is so cold. I am headed to Provence at the end of the week, and hopefully it is a little warmer in Provence. But you can see plantings going on over here, which is very fun. It's quiet. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning, and so you can see that there's not very many people out. Part of it might be that it's cold. There's my lady. She is amazing. I come and see her winter, summer, spring, fall. I have to see how my lady is doing. There's a lot going on with tour groups in the park, as you can see. Those of you who are coming for the Olympics, get ready. There will be wall-to-wall people. Also, so when you get to this part of the Tuileries, which was all part of the palace at one time, that does not exist anymore, but at that end is the Louvre, which is obviously a palace. And then all the way on this side is the Concorde, Place de Concorde, and there will be all kinds of Olympic events actually at the Concorde. Here's another cafe. You can see that. I'll give you a little view of another outside sculpture and what that looks like. You can see you see the chairs everywhere, the iconic chairs. Now, today is super quiet because it's raining out, and I'm not so sure. There's not a holiday. We're right at the end of May, and they don't celebrate Memorial Day on the same day as they do in the States. So I'm not quite sure. But it is very quiet, and you're starting to see tourists everywhere. Maybe tourists who don't want to come during the Olympics, but want to see Paris. We are coming out right now at one of the big water features at the end by the Place de la Concorde, and I'm showing this to you because you can see a few people have been asking me about the Olympics, and you can see I'm going to put my umbrella down and try to get you a closer picture of what is going on. I think you can see it. The stadium that you see up here, well, that looks blurry. Okay, there's the Place de la Concorde, and you can see there's stadium seating on either side of the Place de la Concorde because in the place is going to be what they call urban sports. So it's going to be some sort of like break dancing, skateboarding, that sort of thing. Gives you an idea of what's going on here. Way in the background you can see the Eiffel Tower. Like I said, it's raining, so it's kind of a dreary day. Much of the park is closed up because they're getting ready for the Olympics. Gives you an idea. But here's a couple of statues peeking out. I love it. Paul Belmondo is the artist of the woman, and I believe the man is somebody different. You know, it's Paul Belmondo also, the man. So anyways, I'll go down here and you'll be able to see the avenues that are created. And don't you love it? Right down the avenues. Now, all of this is usually open. It is the Olympics that they are getting ready for. I think America is off this week, because there seems to be a lot of children around again. And children who speak English, which is kind of interesting. So this is a different section of the park. Good Lord, there's cotton candy. Can you believe it? I am walking a different way through the park because they, of course, are doing construction. Usually I go straight across and end up on Rue de Rivoli because I'm going off to Cado's lingerie shop. And let's see what's in here. I haven't gone over here much because I don't use this exit all that often. So we shall see. Oh, it's very pretty, isn't it? It looks like a children's playhouse in the middle of all that. Very cute. Oof, my hands are freezing. Oh, look at this. Give you a more panoramic view of what is going on in here. Very pretty. And back in here is the children's play area. It's not very big, but it looks like they're having some good fun. Preparations are happening. There's the Place de la Concorde, all of the bleachers. Gives you a little bit of an idea. And I'll try to take you a little bit over here so you can see things are already getting blocked off. You can see the gorgeous fountain, and if you follow that road down, you end up at the Louvre. Normally this is all wide open, but you can see the bleachers getting built. I had to show you the lamp posts because they're just spectacular. Right over here is the Creon that I'm looking at, and then a museum that was just restored. Those are matching buildings, but they're very different uses of the buildings. I am leaving Cado's to have my bra fixed, and we are coming out on Rue Saint-Honoré, which is one beautiful couture shop after another. We are going to take a right on Rue Champon. I love Rue Champon. There's a hotel called Hotel Castille on Rue Champon that is actually a lovely hotel. I stayed there years and years ago. with my daughter. Dior is on the corner, but I will show you. I'll show you the windows, because Dior's windows are always so spectacular. They must get people much more important than me taking pictures all the time. So look at that. Beautiful. Look at the shoes though. You have to have the right kind of legs, like, to wear those. They're spectacular. I will go around. I apologize. Oh, someday. Beautiful church that's finally repaired. It's very fun. There's some, I don't know, I think they're men's. Those are quite the shoes, aren't they? Quite significant. You guys, menswear has changed so much in the last few years. But, yeah, I love the tennis shoes. And I don't know about you, but the asymmetrical is everywhere. Rather interesting. Oh gosh, it gives you a little peek into an apartment. You can see a bicycle upstairs, mailboxes.
The bigger the better. Yes. True.
Americans. This is what I want to do on the windows of my new apartment, to cover up the windows. We'll see if they can do it. It's a rather interesting way to cover up issues, antiquities. Okay, now this is some of the best macarons in Paris. I get them at Beau Passage. It's Pierre Hermé. That's the name. Oh my God. And even though they tell you you can't eat them past 24 or 48 hours, you can, because I have brought them back to America and they are delicious. This is the ready-to-wear shop of Concorde lingerie, and beautiful, beautiful things that we should be wearing all the time underneath our clothes. Float is a cafe that my daughter and I actually ate at so many times. I cannot tell you, because we stayed at the Castile Hotel, which I think is now called La Chabanne. Interesting. Maybe not. Maybe I missed it. No, that's not right. It's a different hotel. On the street, further up that way, is Hotel Castile. Hotel Castile is directly next to the original Coco Chanel, because it is across the street from the back entrance of the Ritz, if that makes any sense. So, lots and lots of construction, which is typical. It's an old city. Boston is the same way, and Paris is much, much older than Boston. So that is used to be W.H. Smith, now it's Smith & Sons. It is an English-speaking bookstore, which is great. Based in London, and this is their Paris branch. This is Rue de Rivoli. Across the way is the Tuileries Garden. Rue de Rivoli used to be heavily frequented by everyone because there were taxis, there was cars, all of that. The current mayor of Paris has almost eliminated cars on Rue de Rivoli and created bike paths, as you can see. As I said, it's cold in Paris right now. I'm sure suddenly it will warm up and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so hot, because there's no air conditioning. But for right now, it's cold. That's why I'm all bundled up. I'm in the Tuileries. I've been walking you through the gardens, which is very, very fun. It's one of my favorite places to go. It's close to my house and or my apartment, and I like it. There's certain aspects of it that are very quaint and very comfortable, that I maybe don't relax and enjoy as much in some of the other parks. There's a lot of, it's a flatter park, say, than the Luxembourg. Not quite as, certainly not as large as the Luxembourg, if you like the Luxembourg garden. But anyways, so here I am. What am I contemplating, right? Well, writing the book, as I have shared with all of you. And this chapter that I'm working on right now to edit is all about where you want to be and where you currently are, and what's the plan? What are the steps that you're going to take in order to get to where it is you want to be? Because we can walk around, and I've done this myself all the time, and we can fantasize about what kind of a next chapter we want. But if we don't sit down and actually write up the individual steps that we are going to take to get ourselves a little bit closer, it remains in our journals. It remains just a fantasy, wishes, without a plan. I'll give you just an example. I had a realization, an awakening about 3 weeks ago that my eating of candy had to stop. If I want to live a long and happy life, I need to stop sugar. And so I sat down and created a plan as to what I was going to get out of my life, how I was going to deal with my addiction, if you want to call it that, and find alternative ways to get a little sweetness into my life, because obviously I was craving more, without being harmful to my body. That's the plan. That is an example of where I am versus where I want to be, and setting up a plan in order to get there. So try it with just one thing. And my biggest suggestion is don't make it hard. Don't make it so monumental. Like, for instance, if I use the candy example, I will to have created a plan that I will eat absolutely zero sugar and it will be out of my life isn't realistic. I've tried it before and I can't hold it for very long. I can hold it for maybe 3 weeks, but I can't hold it for a whole lot longer than that. And so consequently, it basically I sabotage myself. So create easier steps. In my case, it was I can have something sweet on a weekend, not candy, but something sweet, meaning a little, maybe honey in my tea. It might be a little dessert. In France, they do not put the amount of sugar into desserts that they do in America, that we do in America. So, but limiting it, knowing that I don't have to have it every day. I don't have to have my fix every day. Has helped me to keep to my plan. So make your steps, the steps that you want to take, that you lay out between where you are and where you want to go. Make them easy enough that you don't feel like, it's punitive. So that's my advice for the day. Take care, everyone. A biento. Now, taking a little detour, I am on Rue de Rivoli, which is just across the street from the Tuileries. And I am checking out a bookstore that someone mentioned to me. And believe it or not, it does say the first English bookshop on the continent. Fascinating. We'll take a little jaunt in. Oh, look at this. Isn't this fun? Very interesting. Actually, it's a beautiful book. It's a story of a woman painter. Oh, how wonderful. We'll take a walk down the street here, or down the aisle. English book department back here. Not sure how to think like a woman. It's interesting. Then over here we have some of the classics. But I thought this was so beautiful. Look at the inside. It says, "May your lives be filled with wonderful stories, great adventures, and happily ever afters." Love, Mommy. I love that. That was so pretty. It's a beautiful section. There's a little room I'd love to be in. Here's a whole nother area. And of course, I'm videotaping, so what is it doing but raining? Don't you love it? All I have to do is say, I'm going to make a video for my friends, and bang, it starts to rain. Here we are in the end of the Tuileries, where you can see gardeners at work. And it's raining once again, but that's the Louvre at that end, and I believe that the Tuileries palace actually was going to combine, or there'd be a walkway over to the Louvre at one time. So we're talking 17th century here, or even 16th century. The flowers change on a regular basis, and the flowers are always, how do I say, coordinated with what's going on at the Louvre. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Another little nook within the Tuileries. Very cool. It's the end of the peony season, as you can see. Beautiful. Well, it's raining once again. Of course, I'm taking a video, but I wanted to stop in and just let you see me in the rain. And you might say, why, Sharri, did you take us to gardens today? And part of it is, I think gardens are that place where we get answers. We learn how to connect with ourselves and ask what it is that we really want out of life. Not the fluff, not the pretty stuff per se, not the right purse, not the right shoes. What do I really want in my next chapter? How do I want to feel in my next chapter? And I find I do that so much easier when I'm out in nature. And I live in a condo, and so consequently I don't have a garden of my own. And that's why I come to places like this, the Tuileries. It's something else. But on the video, you also saw that I went to a bookstore. The bookstore is on Rue de Rivoli, and supposedly it's the oldest English bookstore on the continent. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard about it from another YouTuber, and I had to go check it out. And I'm walking around going, how could I have missed this? I've been coming to Paris for, I don't know, 8 years, something like that. And I'm like, how in the world did I miss this? So I hope you enjoyed that. I went to lunch at the Imperial with one of my very good friends here in Paris, Pupi Gadol. And we did our usual laughing and joking and telling stories, which is so fun. The Imperial is right on Rue de Rivoli, actually. So a great experience for you is to go to the Tuileries, go to the bookstore right across the street, and then go to lunch or go to dinner or just go have a glass of champagne. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, Subscribe if you haven't already, and share if you don't mind. Take care, everyone. A biento.